Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome. I think it's very fitting that we're gathered the day after Mother's Day because the YWCA is like one of my children. And so I'm very happy to be here and share some exciting news with all of you. Thank you for joining us. So today we have a community update about YWCA Bergen County's exciting future as we step into our next century of service poised to make a difference even greater for New Jersey's women, girls, and families. YWCA Bergen County is part of the oldest and largest multicultural organization for women dedicated to eliminating racism, empowering women, promoting peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. We were established in 1920 by Nell Doremus at the Ridgewood YWCA. And our earliest program was to provide food services to the community's young working women. Over the decades, we have built programs that improve the lives, inspire change, and create opportunities. We provide safe, welcoming places for women, girls, and families to learn, share, and grow. We support women and girls on their paths to educational, career, and financial success. And we advocate for women's and civil rights. Since joining the YWCA Bergen County as CEO in July 2011, my focus has been to guide the organization into its next century of living, to keep working to eliminate racism, empower women, and strengthen families and communities. We are getting ready to celebrate our 100th anniversary this coming year, and as I always like to say, I think we look pretty good for 100. But like every good woman, we are changing with the times as we need to. And I also have to say, I have stood on the powerful shoulders of our past CEOs, our past board of directors, and our past staff who have brought the organization forward year after year to make possible to where we have arrived today. We are very lucky at the YWCA Bergen County to have the advice and counsel of a very esteemed group of women who not only have deep historical knowledge of the organization, but diverse areas of expertise that make them vital to our mission today. I'd like to thank Pam Averso, Eileen Blair, Barbara Giarmo, who's with us today, Joan Groom, Terry Polnicek, Pat Yankus, Dee Waddington, and so many more of the YWCA Bergen County Legacy Ladies, as I have fondly started to term them over the years, who are really essential in the foundation of this organization and have helped create its past, present, and its future. And I do believe that Bobby Eaton, who was the board president the year that I was born, I'm actually wearing the watch. When she passed away, she left this to me. She got this at her 50th year of service for the YWCA. But I believe Bobby and so many other of the legacy ladies with her are smiling down on us today. So the big announcement is, as we mark our 100th year of service, I am so happy to share with you that we will be expanding our service area to additional counties in northern New Jersey. And with that, our name will be changing to the YWCA of Northern New Jersey. Let's see how gracefully I can do this. And our new service region will include Essex, Hudson, Morris, Passaic, and please understand, we're staying very firmly rooted in Bergen County and have a tremendous amount of expansion planned here. We actually have a tremendous amount of expansion planned here for the coming year as well. So, the YWCA Northern New Jersey, we are energized and excited to bring vital programs and services to even more New Jersey residents. We will work to further complement our YW sister associations that are in Princeton and Union County in our combined statewide presence. Our YWCA USA CEO, Alejandra Castillo, was unable to join us today, but she asked that I share this statement with all of you. Expanding our presence and social impact in additional counties throughout New Jersey will undeniably continue to engage local leaders, volunteers, and communities to serve as a positive force for empowerment and equality. With so many pressing issues and the growing need for services among women, girls, and families, we believe that collaboration and partnership with our sister YW associations in Princeton and Union County is not only critical and smart, but it will ensure that we continue to be agents of change in the communities that we serve. We are so incredibly honored to have New Jersey's Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver join us today to provide her insights on what meeting the needs of New Jersey residents mean with this expansion. We're also very fortunate to have our local fan, always, New Jersey Assemblywoman Valerie Vanieri-Huddle. I'm so grateful to also have our board president, Hannah Salvatore, join us.
Hannah rocks.
And last but not least, the actual winner of our Racial Justice Award just less than a few weeks ago, community activist and organizer, Mrs. Stina Baker, who we are such a gem to have her locally in our community and to be here with us today. And grateful that they'll all share their perspectives on the significance of this announcement. Also, our board president will read a statement from New Jersey's First Lady, Tammy Murphy, who could not be with us today, but wanted to make sure that she sent her thoughts. I want to thank the members of the press who are here today, and just grateful that you continue to keep the community informed and engaged. I also want to thank all of our wonderful partner organizations. I see many of you here, and I know we've gotten many wonderful emails from those who couldn't join us. We really do this work in our community as a team. I also want to thank all of our supporters. I know a lot of them are on our Facebook Live right now watching us, and we're grateful that you virtually have joined us to provide your support, and I'm sure you share your excitement. I know my phone's buzzing with comments right now telling me how excited folks are. But I also want to take one moment. I'm so grateful and lucky to have so many members of our YWCA Board of Directors here in the room. If they could just stand for a moment and thank them for their leadership and support. And of course, somewhat in this corner and definitely all around the building, our YWCA leadership team and staff who really, this is all a testament to all of the amazing work they do in the community that we were able to expand. So I'm just going to take a minute to walk you through a little slideshow that'll show you a little bit about how we will be deepening our mission and rippling not only our continuing and strengthening our work here in Bergen County, where we are firmly rooted and plan to continue to be, but also some of the new programming we will be doing. And so with that, you know what, let me just do this. Here.
Oh, I'm good.
You're good? Okay. All right. I even have a clicker. Oh. Sorry. And it's back. Okay. So with that, as I shared, come July, because we work on July to June fiscal year, we will become 100. It'll be marking the beginning of our 100th anniversary, our FY 2020 year. So our organization's daily work, for those of you who I'm sure most of you know, but for those of you who need a refresher, we empower women and girls with the tools that they need to learn and grow along their paths of success. We advocate for equality for all people, regardless of age, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, income level, sexual orientation, or disability. We support survivors. I think that deserves a clap. And we work to raise awareness about sexual violence through our YWCA Bergen County's Healing Space program. We organize and lead in changing culture and initiatives with efforts like our Time Is Now Action Coalition to address sexual harassment and assault, which we launched with Assemblywoman Huddle a little over a year ago in this room. We provide enrichment for children and peace of mind for families with our youth services, child care, and camp programs. And we enhance the well-being and self-confidence of people all through the ages and abilities. So as I shared, in mid-2019, we're going to be deepening our mission by expanding into some new counties. We will continue to be firmly rooted in Bergen County. And as I shared, we're also going to be doing some expansion of some programming here as well come our 2020 year. We will continue to bring vital programs and services throughout Northern New Jersey, and these are our program areas that we do our work. Women and girls empowerment, racial justice initiatives, supporting survivors and raising awareness of sexual violence, child care and camps, aquatics, and health and wellness. Again, we have an unwavering commitment to the lives of women, girls, and families. And our goal is to really help achieve equality for all people. And now we are excited to broaden our reach into Essex, Hudson, Morris, and Passaic counties. Our core mission will always stay the same, but we are changing our name to YWCA Northern New Jersey because it better reflects our new footprint. So again, we are fortunate to always have very strong relationships here in Bergen County, which has allowed us to do our work here. And we're going to be working now to create new relationships in these other counties as well. We'll be launching some leadership groups in each county that will help us do some needs assessments to identify where we can support programming in these communities that align with our mission and the work that we do. That being said, we're also very aware that these other counties have some very, very strong and wonderful programs doing work in these areas. Our intent is not to go in and knock anybody out of that work. It's to support them and to add additional services where needed. We know that some of the communities that we'll be moving into, even with the great resources that are there, there's more need. And this allows the opportunity to be able to assist with that. And we're excited to make our new friends and to really, as I said, do a comprehensive needs assessment to be able to support the growth. We welcome partners, funders, and donors who want to support the programs and services of our organization as a whole. And also sometimes you have donors or funders that want to just focus on something specific. So our donors and funders can choose appropriately. If they want to keep their money in Bergen County, they can designate it accordingly. If they want to support the organization as a whole, they can do that. And if they want to just support a specific program, we have a lot of donors who, for example, Healing Space or our Empower You Girls Leadership Academy are places where they want their funds. All of that will continue to stay the same. No one has to feel concerned that when they're writing a check to the YWCA Northern New Jersey that suddenly their money is going to dissipate into a vacuum and get lost. It can go wherever you want it to as donors, and the same for our funders. Again, we're excited to, with this move, that with our sister associations in Princeton and Union County who are doing amazing work in their areas. And I encourage anyone on Facebook Live too that's listening and you're from those service areas to get involved with those organizations locally and the work that they're doing. But we're excited about the fact that this now creates a bigger footprint for YWCAs in New Jersey. And we look forward to being down in Trenton more on all of the issues that we, as the three of us here in New Jersey, are committed to being able to stand up and help support policy accordingly. Our Healing Space program, which is our Sexual Violence Resource Center, will remain here in this building. And I also want to share that every county has a state-designated Sexual Violence Resource Center. All these counties that we're moving into already have one. So our intent is not to go in and take any of those over, unless for some reason that's requested of us at some point. But we are, because obviously we're committed to this work, we are aligned and will support any of the work that our sister Sexual Violence Resource Centers in the other counties are doing. But we will continue to be that resource here. And for those of you that don't know, we've been here in this building for a little more than 5 years in this suite here. But In just a few short weeks, we'll be having a ribbon cutting because we're taking over about 14,000 square feet of this building and expanding our footprint here as our hub and center. And we're all crammed in this room because the other rooms are under construction and are not so pretty. So with that, this is our new name, YWCA Northern New Jersey, and this is our new logo. And based on our content, you'll also be seeing us called YWCA Northern NJ, YWCA NNJ, YWCA NNJ, so all these different variations. All of our emails and our logos will this fall officially change over. We're going to have a summer of processing and working with our new communities, and we will have an exciting launch as part of our centennial celebration where we really unveil. So overnight, as I was joking with our team as we were talking about it last week, all the little YW Persimmon gremlin elves will come in as we close at 5 o'clock on Friday. By the time we open on Monday, all of the letterhead, business cards, website URLs, everything will change, and we will pop up with our new YWCA Northern New Jersey this fall. So don't be confused if you still see YWCA Bergen County as we transition. And with that, just to give you a sense again of the work that we do, all of this is what we will continue to do in Bergen County, which is, again, working to eliminate racism, empower women, promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all, provide programs that improve lives, inspire, change, and create opportunities, provide safe, welcoming places for girls and families to learn, share, and grow, support women and girls on their path to educational, career, and financial success, advocates for women, and continue to be advocates for women's rights and civil rights. So all of these things we will take with us into our Northern New Jersey growth. The areas that we are focused as well are leading providers in child care services, continue to provide swim, health, and wellness programs, and operate healing space. Of course, this is only going to stay in Bergen County, but we'll continue to work to grow the other areas as well. And I don't know if just to give you a little visual of the program and work that we do right now. I know I very often spend a lot of time out in the community, and people always say to me, and I know my board gets this a lot as well, and our amazing leadership team when they're out talking is, wow, we had no idea all that you do. We are in the schools in Bergen County providing before and after care. We are 2 very large healthy summer camp programs. We're doing teaching skills for life-saving skills with aquatics. We have amazing programs for our aging in place community here in Bergen County. We also are doing all of our women's empowerment programs, helping women start small businesses, supporting women that are in the corporate environment so that they can continue to rise, because we know we need more women in C-suite jobs and on board of directors everywhere to be able to make change. We are helping young women learn to find their voice and kind of expand their vision of who they can be with our Girls Leadership Academy, Empower You. And our hope and our work with Startup, as I said, to help women start a small business. And our time is now Women Action Coalition, where we look forward to getting that program back on track now that our real estate issues are kind of moving, and we've got some lovely space for all of our meetings. And that program as well is really going to continue to focus on changing the culture and the conversation around sexual harassment and sexual violence. So all of these programs, in addition to our significant commitment to racial justice and equality for all people, and I'm very proud to share, and thanks to the County Executive's Office, that we'll be bringing the Undoing Racism training into Bergen County for the first time this June. And we will be creating a team of facilitators that will be working here within Bergen County on exactly that, undoing racism. And we just had our amazing Racial Justice Awards, and we continue to push courageous conversations, as we call them, to have the community look at areas of racial disparity in our community, so that we can, not in a way to create arguments, but in a way to step back and look at how we can create opportunities to change them. So all of our work I'm very, very proud of, and I'm looking forward to the pieces that these other areas that we're growing into Looking forward to developing the pieces where the communities that we're going into are in need. And for those of you that are not following us on all of our social media, and again, the names will change in the fall, but for now, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, we have an app for our Healing Space program that you can download. So anyone who is a sexual violence survivor or knows someone who's a sexual violence survivor, you can actually text to chat and get immediate support. And you can also get linked up to resources to help you with whether you want to report to law enforcement or whether you want clinical support. So please, we encourage everyone to have that on their phone. One of the other great features on there is it programs 5 emergency numbers, so anywhere you're walking, in case you need it, you can hit it, and it can go right to your emergency number if you're feeling unsafe in a situation. And so with that, I would like to turn the program over to our Lieutenant Governor, and again, so grateful that she could make the time to be here.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
You know, as I was sitting and listening, I thought 100 years ago, Bergen County established the YWCA, and I don't think it's a coincidence that this August we will also commemorate 100 years of the work of the suffragettes in New Jersey. And I am certain that some of the founders 100 years ago were probably also affiliated with what occurred with the suffragette movement. And I was just sitting here imagining that the founders in 1920 probably wore those great outfits that the suffragettes wear. Because, you know, we had to wear those long dresses 100 years ago. But I'm very happy to be here, and I want to thank Assemblywoman Vaneri Huddle for extending an invitation for me to be here today. I am a beneficiary of the Y. And when I was in high school, of course, I grew up in Newark, so there was a Y on Broad Street, and there was a Y on Jones Street. And it's interesting that the Bergen County Y has embraced the issue of eliminating racism, because the reason there were 2 Ys in Newark in the 1950s is because the 2 Ys were segregated. And there was a Y called the Jones Street Y, and that's where the African American young people would go. And then you had the big Y on Broad Street. But many of you remember the legacy of the late Congressman Donald Payne. And Donald Payne, community activist, but he was extremely active in the Y movement. And he contributed to the integration of the 2 Y organizations. And then, thus, the YWCA was born at 600 Broad Street in Newark. When Congressman Payne, at that time, he was a board member of the Y. He subsequently became the president of the National Y, and then he subsequently became the president of the International Y. And I think the thing that many people do not remember is that the Y is indeed an international organization, delivering services all over the world, and as well as the diaspora, which was an area that Congressman Payne was very interested in. So this was, Congressman Payne, I believe, was working at Prudential at the time, and he thought that it would be great to organize kind of youth clubs at the Y in Newark. And so I was a girl that joined up with one of the youth clubs. And how he brought leadership to youth development, he had us replicate fraternal organizations. So we all had a Greek name, we all had our colors, we met on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. And so what did I gain from that experience? I gained the ability to know how to run a meeting, and we're talking, we were 14, 15, 16, learned how to run a meeting, learned Robert rules. We learned how to raise money, because each club had to raise money. And we learned how to socialize with young people from all over the county. And you know, I attribute that experience to me at a very early age learning how to be a leader in my community. And I think that the YW in Bergen County continues to do that as well. Many people think the Y is all about swimming. But as we learn today, the Y of yesteryear is not the YWCA of today. The fact that the YWCA of Bergen has adopted as its credo eliminating racism and empowering women is reflective, I believe, of the transition of the Y that has morphed into something that is very, very different. On the issue of eliminating racism, I tell everyone I cannot wait until the 2020 census is completed, because it is going to tell us a story in New Jersey. It's going to tell us about the multiculturalism in our state, the multi-ethnicity that exists in our state, and it's going to tell us something about ageism in our state. Pay attention to the census and the 18 to 34-year-old cohort. That is going to be the majority in our state as we move forward in the next several years. So the work that the YWCA of Bergen is doing is going to be critical to cultivating a new generation of leadership within our state. Empowering women, you know, something that I say to young women all the time, you are empowered and you have all the tools to be empowered, but you just don't know it. Empowerment is cultivating self-confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, and gaining and understanding that I tell young people the world is really available and it's open to you. I'm a baby boomer, so I wasn't as bad off, and I say bad off, as my mother's generation. They could have been smart as a whip. They could have had all the talent and skill in the world, but so many opportunities were shut out to them. I often think about my own mother, who's 91 years old. She can look at a piece of paper with numbers all over it. You can pull the piece of paper away, and she can recite back to you every number that was on that page. Right? And that is what, you know, the women of that generation could do. But for younger women, you know, the millennials, you really don't understand that for the women at the Y in 1920, they could be a social worker if they were allowed to go to college. They could be a nurse, or they could be a teacher. So I think these days our objective in empowering women is to help women understand that they have every right, capability, and skill to do anything in the world that they want to do. And I think that that is what the programs at the YWCA in Bergen are about for women. I love the fact, and I learned today, I didn't know, that every Y had a program in terms of helping and supporting survivors. I didn't know that. I knew that the Y in Montclair, which I represented Montclair in the legislature for 16 years, and I knew that the Y integrated with a local grassroots organization called Sophia in Montclair, and every year we have vigils and we participate and help fundraise for Sophia. I knew that Cynthia had Sophia established in the YW, but I didn't know it was part of your statewide and your national agenda, so I'm very pleased to hear that. I'm glad that you have the Healing Space initiative here. I had a friend who worked at University Hospital in Newark. She was the head of a program that was called the Safe and Sound program. Women who would come through the hospital who had been victims, they would end up in her office as part of their, you know, admission through the ER room. And she would invite me to programs that they would host every year. I have never forgotten some of the stories that I heard from women in that program. And I'm sure in the Healing Space program, you've done the same. I heard a story of a woman whose husband tied her from a tree in a local park and came back and got her in the morning. I heard a 15-year-old tell me about the sexual assault at the hands of her father. There is a book that I would encourage all of you to read, and the book is called Unashamed. Unashamed is about a woman from Essex County whose husband is in jail for 90 years now. He fathered children by 2 of his daughters, and he was running something like a cult. Her book is phenomenal. She has recovered from that. She, her book is wonderful, and she gives talks to people, and this is a necessary initiative. So I'm glad that the YW is running it, and I'm glad you're expanding. Congratulations on your 14,000 square feet.
14 or 15.
14 or 15,000 square feet. It's going to really contribute and enhance to what you're doing, and I know that Assemblywoman Huddle is a big supporter of initiatives for women and girls, no doubt about it. And I know that I often admired the fact that she started years ago a program in Bergen County for the high school girls. And I came one year and I loved it because the whole day was dedicated to teaching girls about responsible use of social media. And that is something we have to continue to do, because our young women think that it's very innocent, but it is something that can haunt them for the rest of their lives. The colleges are using it, and the other downside of irresponsible social media are young people who are taking their lives and committing suicide because of the bullying that they experience. So you're doing good work, great work. It's the kind of work that I love. I too ran a nonprofit organization earlier in my career. It was some of the best memorable work experience that I have had during the course of my career. I know what it is like to have to meet payroll, pay the payroll taxes, pay the keep the lights on, and so
Been there.
So I am a huge supporter of grassroots community organizations, and know that in my role as the Commissioner of the Department of Community Affairs, I do have the opportunity and the ability to support organizations, and I'm going to ask that you follow up with me so that we can support And to the Board of Trustees, I used to do board training, so if you need me for that, I'm a call.
We do. Well, thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor. And I know your involvement with the YWCA in Montclair, I'm sure you're also aware they did an amazing documentary of that initiative in Montclair that is now no longer there, which is part of our expansion, that talked about the racism that was at the time when it started, and how actually the YWCA helped create a space where all women could be together and grow. So we do have a long tradition. I'm very, very proud to be able to get back into Essex County, since that program in Montclair is no longer there as well. So thank you so much for your comments, and we're so happy that you had exposure to the Y experience growing up that helped bring you to where you are today. And I have to say, it's one of the things that makes me most proud, because I know when we're working with our youth, I know that they're the leaders of tomorrow, and we help shape them with the work that we're doing. So with that, I'd like to just turn the podium over to Assemblywoman Valerie Vanieri Huddle, again, a longtime supporter of the YWCA. And very
Well, this is a great day for the Y and for all of us here, but it's very hard to follow this Lieutenant Governor. She's always without notes. She's always an inspiration on any topic that we have chosen to speak about. And that's why I thought that Sheila would be a perfect poster child for the Y. And I did not know that you were part of the Y when growing up. I have to say this, I too attended the Y, but I did not get the same type of leadership skills that you did. I went swimming at the and that really speaks volumes of the evolution of the YW. And I was just talking to Estina Baker as well. We all, years ago, when we were growing up, I guess I'm a baby boomer too, we grew up and the Y provided services and support fundraising capabilities. We would sell candy. I remember those chocolate bars. We'd probably never be allowed to sell those chocolate bars today because there's too much sugar in them. But I've gained friendships and socialization through the Y. And we could not have come this far and expanded into Northern New Jersey without the tireless leadership of Helen Arkin. And I truly mean that. She's a leader for all of the right reasons. And I'm involved as a legislator because we can try to legislate bills, but we're not going to get there until we change the culture. And I think Sheila said it so well, and there's a quote by Hillary Clinton as well, and it speaks to what you were saying. Kids today are so talented. They have the talented, and I'm embellishing and enhancing her quote, but they're not provided the opportunity. And young women from this organization, and I see many organizations out there, Women's Rights Information Center, Aging in Place. We cannot do this without the help of the nonprofits that are so involved in our young women today. And if we can't legislate, we can begin by changing that culture at an early age, empowering women, eliminating racism. I look at my young niece, she's 4 years old. She has the most diverse group of friends that it's really a commercial, it's a commercial. And I want them to stay that way forever. They don't see color, they don't see language issues, they don't see that if they're immigrants that there's a problem. They're playing together in the park. And I look at those pictures every day and I said, this is what we need this generation to aspire to. And we can only do that with the help of you. But just quickly, when it comes to legislation in Trenton, and Sheila knows this, I've spent years as a colleague side by side. We have tried to get legislation voted upon and being implemented, but we need the help from you to make sure, because you represent, you're the voices. I always say, I'm not an expert when it comes to, for example, when we talk about sexual assault and Denim Day. I'm looking at the cutouts of the denims. Denim Day, that was one of my first resolutions. Governor Corzine signed that. And we all know the history behind Denim Day. You know, she was a student, driver's ed, taking driver's ed. She had tight jeans. This was in Italy. The driver assaulted her, raped her, went to court, and they blamed her because the jeans were too tight. Have we come really? Have we come much further? Sometimes I think not. And that is why Healing Space and the apps, and I think our next piece of legislation I would ask everyone to help support is affirmative consent. Don't say no. It has to be say yes. And that legislation is something that I'm working on, and I hope I can count on the help of all of you to help me through that. One other, Shiro, Hannah Salvatore, you're a great leader in this organization, and Estina Baker, who I just had the opportunity to applaud and congratulate 2 weeks ago as, we call them change makers, or what do we call them?
Yes, change makers at a racial justice award.
And so I'm really honored, but believe me, it's tough to talk between Sheila and then Estina after me. So I tried my best. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. We're always so grateful to have you here. I also just quickly would like to just point out that all of the artwork on the walls is made actual by survivors from our sexual violence program. And with that, I'd like to turn the podium over to Hannah Salvatore.
Oh, good. I'm not even. You're just reading the letter. Great.
And I'm going to read because I don't have that skill of being able to just flow from the heart so easily. Thank you, Helen. Expanding the reach of our mission has been the focus of all of our planning efforts over the last few years, in close collaboration with our incredible, and I do mean incredible, Helen Arkin and the YWCA Bergen County team. We couldn't be more excited to foster this important growth and be here today with this news shared in our community. Our board of directors, thank you ladies for being here today. Looks forward to working closely with the leaders in our new communities as we continue to deepen our relationships with all of the people and the organizations that we collaborate with today in Bergen County and then statewide. On behalf of the entire YWCA Board of Directors, we thank you, all of our supporters, Helen, past boards, the leadership teams, and all of us who have made this important growth possible. So I'd like to share a statement from New Jersey First Lady Tammy Snyder Murphy, and I quote, "There are few things more important than the health and wellness of our children and families. The YWCA is an integral part of bringing that mission into our communities, and we are grateful to see them thriving here in New Jersey." Thank you.
Really now, I'm very grateful that she made the time in her schedule to be with us today. We have community activist and organizer, Mrs. Stina Baker. She's a nationally recognized actress, poet, and storyteller. And I have to say, when she starts talking, the Assemblywoman is right. You immediately go right to an amazing space. She's also the senior campaign lead for Communication Workers of America. I also would again want to share that she was our Racial Justice Award award winner, one of them this past April as well during our Stand Against Racism. And so with that,
one morning,
Here we go.
one morning, she woke up different, done with trying to figure out who was with her, who was against her, or who was walking right down the middle because they didn't have the guts to pick a side. She was done with anything that was not positive or did not bring her peace or positive change to her community. She realized that opinions were a dime a dozen, that validation was simply for parking, and loyalty wasn't a word, but a lifestyle. This wasn't because of a man. It wasn't because of a job. It wasn't because of some dire illness. She woke up different because she realized that life is too short to leave the keys to your happiness in somebody else's pocket. Good morning, everyone. It is a privilege to be here before you, and I'm representing a couple of things here. Myself and certainly Communication Workers of America that stands firm behind the YWCA, the principles, everything that's going on. We want to make sure that we're partnering in our community. We feel that working people issues are inherent to the things that we work on in labor, and we don't want to separate ourselves from the community. Personally, as a woman that grew up in Bergen County, who went to the YWCA on Main Street, but the difference was, and it wasn't a racial difference as my dear sister and friend Sheila Oliver spoke about, but as women, our entrance was on Passaic Street. And it was a tiny little sign over the door, and then we went into a tiny little room where we would change to use the same facilities that the boys were using. I had the privilege very early in my career, more than 30 years ago, to be able to teach classes in the summer at the Maddie Feldman Racial Justice or Social Justice, I don't remember the exact name of the camp. And that was a privilege because his great niece, who's still a friend of mine today, Suzanne Feldman, that is something that I grew up in her home with her great uncle discussing some of the initiatives that he changed the landscape of the state of New Jersey with busing and some other types of innovative things. As an African American woman, it is a privilege to be partnering on a personal side, a professional side. When you see something that says eliminating racism, empowering women,
that can just be so huge and generic that sometimes it's like, well, what exactly does that mean? I've had the privilege of interacting with the YWCA, which is now the YWCA of Northern New Jersey. So as far as I'm concerned, it's just like the Y in Bergen County, but I'll get used to that. That's a generational thing.
After all that?
Yeah, but I'll do my very best. But the thing about it is, and this is what I want, regardless of all the wonderful things that were said, this is very real. And this is about affecting real change. It's one thing to talk the talk. I remember when we did, the three of us were together during the Me Too. And there's some things that's going on. And the fact that, Valerie and I go way, way back, not just on a professional level, our friendship and my sisterhood with Helen. But the thing about it is, when you look at things and women suffer certain things, and we can all acknowledge that, we see that. But 100 years ago, during the suffragette movement, black women were not included in that. And we need to acknowledge that. We don't need to dwell, we need to move further, but we need to understand the history. We can't sugarcoat that and say, oh, it's just one big utopian thing together. No, we have to grow together. We have to be comfortable with uncomfortable conversations, and women can do that. We know for a fact, coming through our Bergen County political system, I had conversations with women on both sides of the aisle in order to get things done when we first started out back in the late 90s and early 2000s. Because there's a lot more that we have in common than we have for differences. We suffer the same differences in each ethnicity, in each culture, in each religion. Nobody is monolithic. Nobody has all the wealth, and then some have no wealth. We have to understand that there's a lot more that we have in common, and we have to stop. If we don't know something, then we need to seek that knowledge, and we need to seek it honestly. So the Communication Workers of America, District 1 in the state of New Jersey, I work for the national, but I'm assigned to the state of New Jersey. We stand firm in our partnership with you. We are proud. I am proud to call you sister, proud to call you friend. That was the same thing with Valerie Huddle and with the lieutenant governor that we have. We just don't have a woman that's in that position, because there was a woman that was the first one ever.
That's right.
And I don't have anything negative, because it's too much.
Right.
It's too much when we knock each other down.
Yep.
Yes, we can have a difference philosophically, we can have a difference in terms of our politics, but there are certain things that are generic to us as women. But I will tell you about our lieutenant governor. When she attended my father's funeral less than a year ago, and they were making a fuss like they were today, the detail wants her on the end, they don't want her here, they don't want her there. When she came into the sanctuary of Mount Olive Baptist Church, right here in Hackensack, and they were going to make a big deal about her, and she had to tell them directly, I am always the lieutenant governor, because let's face it, I'm like the lieutenant governor. But I came today to support my girlfriend and to worship with her family. And I would like to have said that while she's here, and I only give that because we need to understand how precious our relationships are as women. You could show a man and give him a piece of fish and he could eat a meal. If you train or educate a woman, she will not only take care of her family, she will take care of the entire community. And so CWA and Estina Baker, as a separate citizen, we stand ready to support you all. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Great, as always.
Well, I told you she was going to take you on a trip. Well, I know we ran a little long, but I really would like to close by saying thank you so much to our Lieutenant Governor for joining us today and honoring us with her support. Thank you to Assemblywoman Valerie Beneri Huddle. Thank you to Estina Baker. Thank you so much to Hannah Salvatore and our entire board of directors. Again, I'd like to thank the press for joining us today to help make sure that this important information gets out into the community. I want to thank all of our community partners who came to be with us. As I always say, this is not a competition. This is actually about linking arms together and really becoming a safety net for our community. And I'm very proud to stand with all of you. I want to thank everyone who joined us virtually today. And we really are excited about the days ahead, and we look forward to having you join us. I would also like to tell you if you'd like to come celebrate a little bit more, Wednesday night is our gala at Season. Easily accessible to purchase tickets on our website. We hope you can join us. But please follow us on social media, share this news with your colleagues and with your friends, and we will keep you informed every step of the way as we continue to grow and evolve to serve more women, girls, and families here in Northern New Jersey. And I'm happy to take any questions if there are any, and if they're not, I just would like to thank you all and wish you a wonderful week. But are there any questions? Yes?
Am I correct that there are not existing Ys in the other places, or that you're merging with them, or merging them into you?
Your first comment was correct. So let me also share, some of these counties that we are going into at one point may have had an association, but they are no longer in existence. And so we have been asked over the last few years, encouraged to be able to grow our work into these counties to help support them since they no longer have a YW. And that's actually how this started.
Right.
We've been working on this for about 2.5 years, so it's exciting to be able to share it with all of you today. Any other questions? Well, thank you all for